Test 1. Listening, Part 2. Exam practice. You'll hear a girl called Flora telling her class about a recent trip to South Africa, where she saw some animals called meerkats. For questions 9 to 18, complete the sentences with a word or short phrase. You now have 45 seconds to look at Part 2.
My name's Flora, and I want to tell you about a fantastic trip I did with my parents and sister earlier this year. It really was the trip of a lifetime, as we went all the way to South Africa to visit relatives there. But we also got to see some of the sights and the wildlife, including a colony of meerkats. On the day we went to see them, we got up really early and drove off to meet our brilliant guide, Gavin. He was incredibly knowledgeable about meerkats. For example, he told us that early explorers thought the meerkat was like a sort of desert monkey, although apparently some people say the meaning of the name is lake cat, even though it never goes anywhere near water. And in one region, the meerkat is still known as the sun angel, as it was thought to help warn farmers of possible dangers to their cattle. Gavin also told us that meerkats can live in captivity for a long time, but for far less in the wild, in the desert areas where they tend to make their homes. This is due to things like changes in their habitat. Once we'd arrived at the place where the meerkats lived, we were given hot drinks and chairs to sit in while we waited. Gavin also gave us some blankets, which I hadn't really expected as we were in a desert area. But then it had been cold in our car that morning, so we were glad of the extra warmth. We would have been freezing otherwise. Because Gavin knew the area so well, we didn't have long to wait to see our first meerkats. He'd spent months in the area observing the meerkats and being close to them so that they got used to his presence and his scent, and most especially his voice, which might have frightened them away. As a result, he was able to talk to us easily without scaring the meerkats, although we stayed a bit further away. The meerkats stood looking around near their holes where they lived. They were really fun to watch, with their sweet faces and long, thin tails, which Gavin said they use not only for balancing, but also for signalling to other meerkats if they want to warn them of danger. Gavin told us that when everything is okay, they stand on their back legs and make little peeping noises to the rest of their group. But as soon as they see anything out of the ordinary, they bark, which they did while we were there when they saw an eagle flying over, and they all disappeared underground for a while. And apparently, they can also whistle to each other too. We got a really good view of the animals through our binoculars. They have lovely fawn-coloured fur coats, but there's not much fur on their black tummies. That's because they need to absorb the warmth of the sun. They also have stripes across their back, which are unique. Gavin said that they allowed him to identify each meerkat quite easily. Gavin also doesn't feed the meerkats, but encourages them to search for food in the ground. While we watched them, one found some plants to eat, and others found some spiders, which they shared as a tasty treat. Gavin told us he'd even seen them eat small birds, although they seemed to prefer things like insects. Of course, we all wanted to take a meerkat home, but Gavin told us they don't make good pets because they're wild animals. So instead, we had a look in the souvenir shop back in our hotel. There was an amazing range of DVDs and books about meerkats, but I finally chose 2 posters, and my sister got a couple of cool t-shirts with meerkats on, one of which she gave to me, so we were very happy. So, does anyone want to ask me anything?